Relax.
All right, hi everyone. I have an empty seat next to me. Soon we will have someone joining us. But my name is Alicia, and I'm here to talk to you about Website Builder. We're going to be talking about some more advanced topics today, though we will refresh on some things that we did last time in part 2, as well as part 1. So welcome, and we're going to go ahead and get started with a little slide here. And here is what we will be covering today. We're going to refresh on how to link photos. One of our most popular things to do is link photos, PDFs, or even to another site. So we'll refresh on that, as well as we'll revisit social media options, including the Yelp widget. We haven't really covered that quite yet, but very, very important. We'll also review editing images. So again, we'll talk about how to zoom in to maybe change some aspects of that image as well. And then we will discuss the form. So we'll be talking about how to use the custom form, how to make changes to it, add additional elements as well. We'll also become more comfortable in changing the background. The background is really important in making your site pop. So you are able to make some changes. So we'll take a look at the colors and how we can edit the image in the template. And then we're going to learn how to copy, edit, and delete some pages. So sometimes you might want to copy a page, copy elements, or maybe edit, as well as delete those pages. And then we're going to add some shapes, lines, and more. So create some additional pop in your website as well. And then you're going to familiarize yourself with code. So some people might want to be able to use HTML, add some code to your site. So we'll take a look at that. Right. So one thing I did want to mention is I want to mention that when it comes to building your site, 97% of consumers search for a product or service online, and you want to make sure you have the right information. 50% of consumers will go to a site and not have the information they're looking for. Like, one of my favorite things is I like to get the phone number, the hours, and the information of a physical location. And so that's really important as we take a look at the site we're going to be working through today. Again, if you've been with us before, we had Jenny, who was our photographer, so we're going to link back to her and take a look at her site. It's already been built, but we have some things that we're going to check out. All right, so I'm going to flip on over to that. All right, there we go. Thank you. I also have Colby here, by the way, if you want to say hi.
I'm here. And then also, too, Alicia, I want to let you know, I just realized we had some people submit some questions in advance.
Perfect. Do you want to? Okay, absolutely. We'll make plenty of time for that, and maybe we'll go over them as we're going through this.
Sure.
Very cool. So what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at My Account. So you'll see that when you log into the GoDaddy website, you'll first pull up your My Account page. That's that button on the right-hand side at the top. And then you'll see all of your products. You can see I have lots of products. I even have more as I scroll down. You'll see I have this Website Builder section that I've actually clicked on to open up all of my websites. And I'm using this one right here. So I'm going to actually click Manage to the right-hand side. You'll see it's that green button there that I'm going to click on, and it's going to open up. So remember, I mentioned Jenny, our photographer, who actually has a site built already. So if you haven't started building your site, you won't see this at first. You will actually see the option to put in your domain name, either type it in or select it. You will also have the chance to choose your theme, and there's lots of different options, and they're all categorized. Now, because I've built this site for Jenny, I have this information here. So you'll see it's basically just an overview of the site. And you'll see all the information I have, including the pages, as well as the progress I've made. And then you'll see to the right-hand side I have some detailed information, as well as I have this button so I can go ahead and start or continue working on my website. So that's Edit Site. So I'm going to click on that right now. Now, I've spent some time helping Jenny build her website, so I have some pages here all ready to go. And the first thing we're going to take a look at is we're really just going to look at photos in general. So we'll kind of lump this all together and talk about linking photos, editing photos, and so on. Now on this home page, you'll notice I have a little slideshow, and this came with this theme here. So it automatically input that slideshow. And over here to the left-hand side, you'll notice my menu, and I have actually clicked it to minimize it, so to get it out of the way, and I just opened it back up. And you'll see about four down, you'll see a little slideshow option. So if you don't have this on your template or your theme, you can actually go ahead and add this, or to other pages as well. That's the slideshow there. All right, so I'm going to reduce that down. And anytime you actually want to go ahead and make a change to the images, you can actually do a little right click, and you'll notice here I have to unlock this. It's not going to let me do anything until I actually select that little unlock button. And then I can go ahead and swap the images. So you'll see once I clicked on swap images, I have all of those different images, and you notice there is a little link in here. So if I wanted to actually go ahead and I could caption it, or if I wanted to add a link, I can go ahead and do so. And you'll even notice to the right-hand side here, I have a little drop-down. So I can link to another page on my website, or I can even upload something. So we will actually take a look at uploading a PDF here in just a few minutes as we go through. So this was my slideshow, and it's very similar to all the other photos that are on your page here. So you'll notice a picture of Jenny right here. Again, I can right click and I can swap that image. And again, it allows me to go through, change the images, and I can even go ahead and I could link off. So in this case, I hit settings and it allows me to link. Now, Kobe, did we have any questions related to photos?
Nope, not specifically to photos.
All right, I figured while we were talking about photos, we can go through.
More so along the lines of like form questions, I believe.
Form?
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll be talking about the form as well, and talking about the different elements. So we will get to that. All right, so again, we just discussed how you can add a slideshow. You also, in this case, we had a slideshow. You could swap the images and link to those images. You can also link to another site as well, or add a PDF, and that's the same with all of these. So I'm going to go ahead and switch pages here. So I have the About Us page, and again, I can go ahead and right click. Now again, anytime it has the red lock, you want to be able to unlock that. And really, the reason that's in place is so that way you can lock things and they don't move while you're trying to make updates. And of course, you can always unlock them and allow yourself to make those updates and make those changes. So again, if I want to link off, whether it be to another site, I want to link a PDF or other form, I can do so, and that was just right-clicking, and this time I have settings, and you'll see I can go ahead and put in the URL. Of course, I can also drop down and choose another area of my site if I wanted to link off to another area, or I can upload. So in this case, I'm actually going to just link this off to Google just for funsies, and then we'll go ahead and make sure anytime you make a change, you hit save. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go through, and we'll upload, or we'll put in a PDF in this case. All right, so I'm going to go to our testimonials page.
There's actually one question on that. Charlie wants to know, are you able to alt tag photos?
Are you able to alt tag photos? That's a good question. And actually, we do have an SEO option, and I'll show you that right here under Manage Site. And under Site Settings, you do have the option for search engine, title, and description. As far as alt tags, we don't have that option, but I do have Jason coming any minute, so he can clarify that for us when he gets here. He's in our technical team, but as far as I know, we do not. But we do allow you to make some updates to your search engine optimization through our SEO. Good question. All right, so let's say that I want to add a PDF. Now, again, you have all the different options to the left-hand side here. You have all these different widgets that you can add. So if I wanted to go ahead and add an image, so I just clicked image over here to the left-hand side, and it automatically inserts something. Of course, I can make a change. So here I have a lovely beach picture. I can actually go ahead and right-click, and I'm going to go ahead and swap images. Now, if you've seen our Hangouts in the past, you did notice that we have the theme photos that are automatically in the theme, as well as free images. So if I wanted to choose a free image, of course, I can upload images. I can pull them from Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to go ahead, and for Jenny's site, I'm going to grab a picture here. Just choose this one. We'll go ahead and insert. Are you going to join us?
Yeah.
I know, I feel like it's so lonely over here. All right, and so I have this picture here I really like, and I think I'm going to go ahead and play around with it a little. I like that it's black and white. But if I want to choose the settings, when I open up the settings, it gives me some different options to edit this image. So we have our image editor here, and you'll see once I get the image editor, I'm actually going to scroll down a little. Let's do that again. Again, this is gray button image editor. And so I can zoom in. I can also crop the picture or open it up a little bit more. And then I can go into advanced options as well, and that's that little frame right here. And when I click on it, it opens it up for me and gives me some more options here. So I can enhance the photo, or I can choose effects. So if I didn't really like that it was black and white, or I wanted to choose something else, I could. Oh, I like that. I love playing with this. It's a lot of fun to see what you can do. It's kind of like Instagram.
Yeah, for sure. Now, when you're previewing pictures like this, Joe had a question on the difference between mobile device and desktop. So he's used slideshow pictures before and added titles in the photos for sample shows, but the titles appear kind of cut off in the mobile view.
Okay.
So just want to know if you could preview that or speak a little bit more to that.
Sure. All right. And Jason is joining us, so I might have him speak to that a little bit more. So one thing we were just talking about, Jason, is we were talking about alt tags, and I mentioned that we don't have that capability, but I wanted to double check. All right. This is Jason. He's our technical superstar here.
How you doing?
With his Dr. Pepper to rev him up, right? He just drove in all this traffic to get up here. Thank you.
I did.
Are you
Thank
stressed?
You. No, I'm good.
Dr. Pepper helps. All right, so glad to have him here, and you're going to help us out just a little bit. So we were just playing with this image. We're talking about alt tags. I did show them where you can update your SEO. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry, Colby, repeat that question one more time.
Mobile device versus desktop. He said he's used slideshow pics before and added titles in the photos, like our example shows we have going on here. But he says in mobile the titles are cut off.
So you're talking about like right in here?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, well let's do a little preview. So preview this, and then we could even preview it in mobile up here at the top once we get into the preview mode. Yeah.
So where is it getting cut off? How many characters do you have entered?
All right, so we'll let him answer that.
You can get updated on there.
Sure, and that's something actually, and just keep in mind we have awesome support team. Jason supports our support team, right?
Yep.
So you can always call us or chat us. We're happy to help. Sometimes it's case by case, and we need to just take a look. But while we're waiting, let's go back to our photo. So we were just playing around with our photo here, doing a little editing. We were in our settings and just playing around with that image editor. And one thing I wanted to show them is I just wanted to show them the the option. We talked about linking, but we didn't really talk a whole lot about uploading. So let's say I had something I wanted to upload here. You'll notice at the very top there in blue, I can upload. And I can browse the files that are on my computer. So let's take a look. So I had some example cards. So as a photographer, Jenny can also provide cards. And so let's see, I'll go ahead and click on the cards. And this is just an example. And by default, it automatically checks it for you. So then all you have to do is hit insert. And then again, we talked about making sure to hit save. And then we'll preview this so you could see it link off. All right, so let's preview that. And I like how everything automatically saves now. It's really nice. It's very cool.
When in doubt, hit the little icon up top that looks like a old hard disk.
Yes, we'll take a look at that. So basically, and obviously, I would probably want to put some words on here to say, hey, here's an example of my cards that I create, something along those lines. But just to get us going, when I went to preview mode, which I am now in desktop, I just clicked on the picture, or really anywhere I have some text that I link off to, and you'll see here's examples of the cards I make as a photographer, or Jenny. I love photography, but I'm definitely not a photographer. My kids are better photographers than I am. And so we'll exit preview. That's the mode we're in. And again, you can tell you're in preview because it tells us, thankfully. And then you'll notice, and like Jason mentioned, you have that little hard disk at the top here. I'm hovering over with my hand, and you just make sure to hit save. All right, good. Did we hear anything back?
Nothing back on that yet.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, so we've just been playing around with the photos a little bit, swapping images in the gallery, or just swapping images in a standard one picture. We talked about linking off as well as to PDF. Again, you can link to another site. So actually, let's preview, because one of our pictures, I believe it was our home picture, we did a little link off. There she is. Oh, there we go. So Jenny linked off to another part of the website. So we did a little link off from her picture to the contact us. Right? It really just depends on what you're trying to do. In a lot of cases, you probably just want to maybe link off to another site somewhere else. Maybe you have a blog or a store that you're connecting to. If you want people to look at things like pictures or cards, or maybe access to documents that you want them to submit as well. So those are ways you would want to link off. And of course, you'll always probably be looking at editing images as you go throughout and create your site. All right, so we talked a lot about images, and it's probably our #1 question that we get because it's so important. And earlier I mentioned that a lot of times people or consumers will not stay on your site, or they get to your site and they don't see good information. Also, when it comes to SEO, you really want to have pictures, and you want to make it more interesting as well. And so you really want to focus as well on social media. So Colby's in our social media team. I actually used to work with Colby in social media, and I work with a lot of our customers, small business customers, and the one thing I noticed is a lot of small business customers don't understand the importance of social media. Your customers are out there, they're searching for you. So Jason, when you're looking for a pizza place or a restaurant in an area, what do you use to search?
Typically it's going to be pizza, and then the location, like in this case it would be Tempe, right? So you want to make sure that you're linking, or you're getting your SEO to your area where you are located. If it's based like a brick and mortar and it's out of one place. Now if it's a service area, then it would be more like just linking to a zip code type thing. Yeah,
so when you search, do you usually use your mobile phone, or do you take your tablet or laptop with you?
Nope.
I usually don't, yeah. I'm usually not driving around with my laptop or tablet.
Yep.
And I can't connect anyway. So yeah, many of your consumers are using a mobile device, and so it's important it's mobilely optimized, and it's important that you're out there on these different social media sites because people are searching for you using apps. So let's take a look at some things we have to offer. So we have a lot of widgets here on the left-hand side that you could choose from. We have our Facebook and Twitter widget that you can add, and so anytime I add one of these, it's just going to bring up a little box here that will allow me to put in my Facebook page, or if I chose Twitter, and then it will just feed in the people that like me or my latest post as well. So that's one way. You also notice at the top here I have all the different social media buttons, and this will allow people to share your information on these different social media platforms.
Important note on this: when you put that widget up at the top, say you do the social share, that's so people who visit your site can click on it and then say, hey, I like this site, sign in with their Facebook login, that at that point in time it ties back to their Facebook and it puts on their Facebook, hey, I love this site, and people can go see it. So it's not directly related to, say, your Facebook page. So that's one of the questions we get a lot people ask, they're like, well, why isn't it tying back to my Facebook page? That's not what that's for. That's for people to use to say they like your site, and at that point in time, send it out to the world.
Yeah, good point. So distinguishing factors in those two things. We also mentioned that we have the Yelp app, and I love Yelp. Do you love Yelp?
Yep.
Colby, do you love Yelp?
I used to love it more, but I still like it.
Uh-oh, no. All right, so I'm actually going to remove this, and I'm going to put it on a page we can see. So I'm going to go to this portfolio page here that I haven't played around with too much. And so I'm going to select the little Yelp app here. All right, and so basically what I'm going to do, oh, it's going to load. And it's talking about finding some listings that match your profile. So if you don't see your listing here, you just click I don't see it, or you can click create one if you don't have a listing on Yelp. So we'll just go through and create one. We're not actually gonna spend too much time doing that, but I personally like Yelp because A, they have an app and makes it easier, and then it maps things out for me, especially if I'm in an area I'm not familiar with. Then I can go ahead and I can actually type something in and find restaurants or services close by. And I've actually passed restaurants and services because they weren't on Yelp and I didn't know that they were there.
Even when you use keyword search on search engines, sometimes Yelp will be one of the first sites that pop up for you.
Oh, that's true. Good point. Well, and a lot of different companies use Yelp. Well, Siri, I know when I'm an iPhone user, but when I search through Siri and I say find Dutch Brothers here, or find Dutch Brothers Tempe, or whatever it may be, and it usually brings up Yelp in the search. So a lot of other businesses are using it. So basically I'll just type in my business name, and this is actually Mosaic Photography. So found a cafe. And then I would just type in the address, and in this case there's no listing for Jenny, at least now, and so you would find your business, or you could actually create the account. So it will prompt you as you go through and set it up. And then you would have your Yelp listing there too. So
just so you understand, that's a direct tie-in with Yelp. So when you do that, it actually creates the Yelp account and then ties it back into your website builder. So when customers are looking for you, they can find you in both places.
Yes. And customers are they're looking for you mobilely, whether it's just doing a Google search, but I can guarantee you most people are, they're trying to, if they have an app, if I have a Yelp app, I'm using Yelp, I'm not using Google.
No. Just
because it's easier. Obviously, everybody's a little bit different, but it's important to cover your bases, if you will. All right, very good. So far, do we have any other questions related to either social media or photos?
Not related to those, no. Still
okay.
We have some still on forms, but we'll get to those.
Actually, why don't we get to them now?
Okay.
All right, so in this case, actually in pretty much all of the templates, you automatically get a contact us page. You can always make updates to that. You can change it to get a hold of us, or reach out to us, or join us, whatever verbiage you choose. Contact us is a well-known heading that you'll see most often. And here you'll notice that we have an address. Now this address and information pulled up from when you walked through the first time you set up your site, and you can go in and you can change that information. So you can make some edits here, or you can even go and some of those edits are only available through site settings and through here on your site info. Now we'll also have the contact us page, which again is just going to give us some general options. We have the capability, once we right click, we can make some setting changes. So I can click on that. I can even change the form type. I actually did this just recently for a site, and we created an actual registration form instead. And you'll see you also have appointment, mailing list, quote, and so on. What did you have?
No, I was just going to say, so those are the defaults. Now,
yes.
Once you actually get that default set up, you can actually add forms to it. So you can be a little more custom with what you do. So once you get that initial form out, then at that point in time you can customize it and create it to a way that's going to be beneficial to your business.
Yeah, very good. And you also have the option to change the label layouts add email or change email addresses. And you can even create your own text. So again, that's a default text, or you can send them to a web page. So different options there. Now I didn't really make any changes here. I'm just going to cancel out. And then I do have the option to add an element. So you might want, so I'm going to click on that now. And you can see the different elements I have. Oops. I click on that again.
Go back to it.
Yes, got to click on that again. By the way, I don't know if you noticed I'm using a Mac, so there we go. Every time I try to scroll down, it doesn't like me. There we go. There we go. All right, so I have different options I can choose from. So you'll notice that I have the text, the standard text boxes. I have multi-line text, so similar to what's over on the left-hand side under comments. Questions, I have multiple choice, so I'll just click on that. So let's say, again, this is a photographer, so what type of service are they looking for? So we'll say service for now, and I can go in and I can type in wedding, party, family,
Baby shower.
Baby shower, that's a good one. Family, so on, and then I can make it vertical, horizontal. I can even make it a required field as well. Let's be good here and capitalize. I even have some advanced options as well. And so tell us a little bit more about that tooltip.
Text display is tooltip. So when they go to the form and they hover over it, at that point in time, it can actually pop up a tooltip and say, you need to fill this out to let us know what kind of photography session you're going to need, that kind of thing. So if you want to give a little more instruction to your customers when they come to your site and they're going through the form, they hover over it and it'll just tooltip display. It's a pop-up.
Yeah, just like the little bubble that comes up.
That's exactly it.
Cool. That makes it nice. You can explain a little bit more. All right, so I added some elements, and you'll notice, again, there were quite a few more elements. And did we have any questions in regards? I know we had some custom form questions as well. Did we hit on what they were asking?
So a little bit, but let's go through them here just to double check. So one of the questions is they want to create a form, a request form, that would then allow them to distribute free white papers retrieved through a unique URL. Can they do that, and how can they do that without creating a page for each one?
Well, at that point in time, they're going to need to have more of like an opt-in type subscription. So in this case, they'd want to use like what we have currently right now, Express Email Marketing, tied in with the website builder. So they opt into the form, and then they can send the white papers out through that.
Okay, gotcha. It's not necessarily built in just a website builder.
No.
Okay. And then the other one is they want to create an opt-in member directory where you have to be on a specific list to add your name to this member directory, and then enter a member number for them to view the whole list. Is there a way to do that in Website Builder, or is there a different product we offer that would kind of do that?
That's going to require a database.
Okay.
So if you want to do that, it's a little more advanced than what the Website Builder. Website Builder is a WYSIWYG, right? What you see is what you get. So it's more basic. So if you want to get into something like that, it needs a database that it will tie into, where it can pull that information and let you know, hey, I'm signing up for this, and then go from there. So in this case, not so much. Even with Express Email Marketing tied into it, I don't think it would handle what they needed. Okay. So hosting with a database, WordPress, our WordPress product would be fantastic.
Okay. And then the final one is on the templates for contact forms. How do you change, or are you able to change the fonts and stuff like on those? So he has a template where the fonts are grayscale and kind of hard to read. Is it possible to change that to black text?
Right now, that's not an option. Now, if he's comfortable with cascading style sheets, right? So he understands CSS. He could make edits to the site-wide settings and apply that code to the entire site, which would then affect the form.
Okay.
Ooh, sounds technical though.
It is. It's a much more advanced way of dealing with Website Builder. It's coming.
Okay.
The ability to change tags, colors, things like that with forms, it's on the roadmap. We don't have an ETA on it right now.
Something in the works.
Yep.
That we're aware of.
For sure.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's it for the form questions.
That's some tricky ones.
Yeah, there's definitely some going out there.
That's good stuff, though. I mean, that's what a lot of our customers, are asking for, and we love to hear your feedback and what you want to see. That's how we've built Website Builder, is based on customer and feedback and agent feedback. So when you talk to our agents, let them know.
I can assure you that I deal with the developers for this, and they do understand what you want. So if you give us that feedback, and as a matter of fact, if you're looking at this right here, let's go ahead and get out of this real quick. Go to Help. You go to the Help section. Just kidding.
I think that's all my story, right?
it takes you right to it. If you go out of here, there's a way to get to feedback. And that feedback directly goes to our PR and to our developers, and they take a look at it, and they see.
Is it right there?
No, it's going to be. Where's feedback?
That's all right. There it
right
is.
There.
There it is.
So on the home page, if you ever have a suggestion or something like that you want to send to us, by all means, use feedback. It's very important. It's something that we do take seriously.
Absolutely.
And it does, like I said, it goes through the proper channels, and at that point in time, we then start figuring out what we're going to do as far as a rollout for you guys.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so that was the page we were looking at a little bit earlier before we actually went in to make those edits. All right, so we were just taking a look at the form, and again, it was on our Contact Us page in this case. We made some edits. We added some services as well, and you'll see you can copy as well as you can update the settings. If I wanted to make some changes, let's say I stopped taking photos of parties or something along those lines, then I could do that. Oops, I'm getting scroll happy here.
And there's one more bug kind of on that. When they're adding text to a contact form or somewhere else, they don't see the cursor. Is that something we're doing on purpose, or is that something we're looking to fix?
That's a browser-based. So if you're in Firefox, you won't see the cursor. It goes away. And that's something we're aware of. We're working on trying to make sure that appears. If you need that cursor there, use Chrome or Internet Explorer 11 or greater.
Okay. Perfect.
And that's what I'm using right now, is I'm using Chrome for this. All right, very good. So let's preview this, because one thing you'll notice, and I actually was working with a customer just the other day that was like, well, how do I submit? So you're not going to be able to submit in this mode, but if you take a look, if you preview, and you were to go through and put in the information, because obviously some of this information is required field with the little asterisk, which you can make everything a required field or a nothing a required field, however you choose. But then once you were done, the submit button would highlight for you, and you could see how it works, and even do a little test as well.
Correct.
All right. So again, we'll exit out of the preview. So we talked about custom form. Really, it's just a matter of finding the form, or again, we have our little toolbar over here, and there's forms in here as well, so you can add another form on another page if you want, or a brand new form. And just really right-clicking in either settings to make some changes to what's currently there, or add elements. All right. So we've talked about the images, we've talked about the form. One thing we do notice is we get a lot of people that want to make changes to the theme, changes to the photos, changes to the background. So let's take a look. We'll get back to our home page here. And so you'll notice anytime there's like an image, it's going to allow you to change those settings, swap image, and so on. If you actually want to change the background, so you'll notice how I have this background here behind all the images, behind all the text. It's just a matter, again, of right-clicking. I'll go somewhere where you can see it a little bit better. There we go. You have the choice between page settings or background. And so one thing you can do, and I noticed this is kind of a big one, is you can put in an image as well, just kind of like you were going to put it onto your monitor, or your computer, or your laptop. So what are some things that you see when it comes to changing the background?
Well, it depends. Some people put their logo blown up in the background. They may have like a nice cool blue water type color that they want to have throughout their site, so they put that in their background, which depends on what they want. I mean, I've seen a little bit of everything, actually.
Oh, wow.
So
maybe like a watermark logo or something.
Correct.
Like that. So it's just like changing your photos. When you actually go in to change the background image, you'll see that you can choose from the photos you've already uploaded, or the theme photos. You also have free images, as well as you can pull from Facebook, Instagram, or what is on your computer. So those are ways you can actually go in to change that. So we had some other options as well. You can change the color. So I can make some changes to that. So if I wanted to try something different, something a little bit lighter.
Well, something to know about when you change the background color here, it doesn't carry over to the mobile
Good point.
site because of the way that the mobile gets rendered. So if you put a black background on your site here, it's not going to carry over the way that you would like it to, where it covers the entire site. So just keep that in mind.
Well, and you want to keep in mind too, you don't want something that's going to be distracting or that's going to be hard to see. You want people to come back to your site and find the information they need, not be blown away by a bright orange or any other colors. Obviously, it's great again to make your site pop and to add those colors, just not completely across your web page.
Correct.
Good. So you can see I can align and I can repeat as well as a scroll background with the page. So that's an option, and that's usually what with I have one photo that's kind of prominent and just scrolls as I scroll my page and stays there.
That's where the logo would come in.
Yeah, good example. And then also I have the page settings, so I can change the width, height, top. And really, these templates and themes are made to work the way that they display when you see them. Doesn't mean you can't make changes. We just made it really easy for you by aligning everything and locking some of those elements into place. So it makes it really, really easy to get your website up and running. All right, so how are we doing on questions, Colby? Got some good ones.
Yeah, still currently no questions since the last time.
Very cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about our pages. So we have our 4 pages here, and we always recommend you have several pages when you're creating a website. Obviously, have your own page, your home page with your main content, your hours, your time. I mean your location and contact information that you tell people a little bit about yourself, how you started, about your staff. Testimonies are a great thing to have. I mean, it tells people a little bit about your services as well as the feedback you've received from customers. And then, of course, any way to contact you, any call to action really makes it a more interactive site. Now, what we're going to take a look at is we're going to take a look at these different pages, and you'll notice that as I go through, dropping stuff in here, each page is a little bit different. And so if I want to copy things across all pages, I have that option as well. So anytime I take a right click, I can make a copy. Now, make a copy a lot of times is just going to make a copy of the box I've actually right-clicked. So in this case, I don't want an extra black box. I guess I could have one, but but sometimes I want to copy that information over each page. So how would I do that, Jason? How would I make a copy? Let's say I want this whole box across each page. Could I do that?
So yeah, of course you can.
You want to drive?
Go ahead and.
Do you know how to use Mac?
Yep. So you click into it, and right here where it says Show on All Pages. Now the thing is with Website Builder 7, there's elements, and each element represents a layer. It's basically 3-dimensional. Now the thing is, and a lot of customers have a hard time with, is that 3-dimensional. You have to make sure that you carry over each individual element and each individual layer. So if you want to share the contact form that Alicia has right here on her computer, you would have to share each element over to each page, and that way it would carry. Otherwise, it'll only see what you decide to share. So looking at this, it looks like you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Just say lots.
So we're going to say like 5 or 6 elements. So you'd want to share each of those elements over to each page. And at that point in time, what would happen is it would then show on all pages. Now once you click it, it becomes green, and it has a little world, and it has a little check mark next to it. That means that it's being shared across the entire site. Once you've done that, it's on all pages. At any point in time you want to stop sharing it across all pages, you then have to go in and either unshare it here and then remove the elements from the other pages, or at that point in time pick the page you want to keep it on and unshare it and keep it at that page. So
yeah, that's a good point.
yeah, but you can definitely do it. We could share this whole thing if you want to share this across your entire
That's
site.
okay. We shared that one element. We'll take a look.
So
yeah, let's click on our other page. Ooh, you're using a different way.
There it is.
It's so pretty. Good. So yes, you can share those different layers, or if there's just one thing in particular you want to share across all pages, a lot of times an image or just a logo like you mentioned a little bit earlier. That's an option. And you'll notice, like, I mean, really, if you go in and just kind of play around with things, you could see really right-clicking is the way to go. That's going to bring up these little menus here and allow you to make those changes. And so if I want to delete this, I could. Why isn't it letting me delete it?
Unlock it first.
Unlock it, and then I can delete it. So no, it's simple. It's not. I mean, it's simple, but sometimes you don't think about it as you're going through because you're like, why won't this delete? But yes, just make sure everything is unlocked. And I can delete anything. If I want to delete a page from here, something from my menu, I can click on menu, and actually it's going to allow me to hide it. So if I want to hide my portfolio, it's not really deleting it, but it's definitely keeping it hidden from...
At that point in time, it becomes unpublished. So when you publish your site and you've hidden a page, it's no longer accessed by the live internet, so people can't get to it.
Gotcha. All right. Very cool. All right, so we just have a couple more things that we're going to talk about today. We're going to get into one thing before we talk a little bit about custom code. And I actually have some on my site. I should be proud. I don't use HTML code. I had to find the code. I don't know what it means, but so yeah, I was just going to talk a little bit about these options down here, and we actually haven't covered these options. We've talked about the button that's there. I'm getting everybody dizzy by going up and down. But this just allows you, if you want another button, especially if you want it to highlight, you don't want it to be something that blends in, or if you want it somewhere on your page. You know, sometimes people that want to take donations might want to put this. Now, obviously, you can use the PayPal button as well. If you want it to link it somewhere else, you can have that. It's just going to stand out, and it gives you different color options, and I'm moving it around so we can see it better. So you can see I have settings, and I can change the different colors and the way it looks, and I can even edit the menu from there. No, that's not what I'm going to do. Oh, see, that's why you should lock that in place right there. There it is.
There you go.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
There you go.
No, there it
You're
is. And I want to move over a little bit so you guys can see the settings. All right, so I'm going to click on the settings here and move it over. There you go. So now you can see. So I can actually enter the text. You know, we'll just make it really simple. Click here, and then I could add my destination. So this could be actually where I put my example cards that we were looking at a little bit earlier. So I'm going to click on this little drop down here to actually upload my cards. There they are. Already uploaded them.
So they're already uploaded, but that allows you to access any files that are already sent to the website builder.
So if there's another file, then all you have to do is grab the other file from your desktop. I can change the colors as well. Ooh, green. All right. GoDaddy green.
Go to advanced.
All right, let's take a look at advanced. Oh.
And then bring it back over.
There it is.
So you can round the corners on it. You can change the way the box looks shadow-wise. You can even make it transparent if you want it to sit behind an element on the website. So obviously it's an advanced tab, so it's going to be giving you a little more advanced ability with it. So you want to make sure that what you're doing is going to work. But
yeah, exactly. There we go. Example cards. So really, I could put that anywhere on the page that would really stand out and make people see it.
So go ahead and preview and
let's put it over here.
See it work.
All right, let's see. Ooh, I did play around with it. I've made it more like transparent.
So exit the preview real quick. This is where the layers come in. Go ahead and get to it, and you want to bring that layer forward so it overlays the layer of the navigation.
So I had that happen. I'm going to move it so I can grab it. I had that happen. Actually, I was speaking with someone the other day, with a customer, and they could not click on it because it was covered with other boxes.
Buried in layers, yeah.
We had to call you guys to figure that out. That's why we called you.
This is where the three-dimensional portion of the website comes in.
Okay, so we'll preview it now so we can actually, there it is. I can actually click on it. And there's my photos. Very nice. I could see that being a common mistake that happens
It
because
is.
you're trying to combine things and you just don't realize that it's one element over another.
Correct.
So, very cool. All right. So we added a button, and now we're going to take a look. I'm going to move my stuff over here a little bit. We're going to take a look at some other things that we can add. And I was thinking about it, and why would a customer want, or anybody trying to build a website, want to put maybe some shapes or lines on their site?
To basically to be a backsplash for something that they put on the page. So
cool.
Depending on the template that you choose, you may have an area that's blank or
I've got an idea.
doesn't have much behind it, and then you put a bunch of text on there. Well, you want to make sure that it stands out. So you put a shape behind it, put it whatever color you want, and at that point in time you can see it.
I have an idea. Let's put a line to separate. So I'm going to click on line. So I'm over here again on the left-hand side, click on line. I'm going to separate the line here, or separate my photography classes with my photographs are awesome. So I'm actually going to change this in settings to vertical. Ooh, this is going to look fancy. All right, so I'm just going to drag this sucker over. I actually did this the other day. Make some separation. There's my custom code right there. We're going to play with it.
Oh.
So fancy.
Custom code calendar.
Woohoo! All right. Oh, I think that looks pretty good. It kind of separates things out and makes things a little more easy to read.
More distinct.
Yes, more distinct. Good word. All right, so you'll see that I have those options on the left-hand side too.
And then before we jump into code, I just want to kind of backtrack on a couple of things.
Sure.
So one, we got a little update on the conversion for mobile with slideshows. You're asking how it cuts off. It looks like, so there's a site, and it looks like it's cutting off on mobile just for the third line. Is that a typical thing that we'll see, or?
So we're checking out someone's site right now, on the fly.
Nope. Go back.
You can see it kind of just cuts off that third line at the bottom there, but not on the actual desktop version.
So do you want to take a look and we can...
So actually have him contact support. We may have some custom code that we can put in to make sure that it shows properly, but just looking at it, it's because you're beyond your description is too big.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
So
yeah, so I think that was
scales for mobile,
correct.
Yeah.
So when it scales to mobile, it's gonna bring everything down, and if you have like 3 or 4 lines, it's going to grab what it can put on the mobile site. So we might be able to put a little CSS in there and make it work for you, but
yeah,
I would almost say that's a limitation. I'd have to look at it a little bit more.
Okay.
Can you do me a
I
favor,
can send
Colby?
that to you
Send me that, please.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll
And
take
then
a look.
The other question we had is there a way to specify a specific size for the space between lines in a text box? It seems that the system uses the size of the font on the previous line.
Correct. It's going to pull from the theme itself.
Okay.
So based on what you have is the way that the text reads in. So if you have, say you pick a photography theme, it may have a 1.5 between the spacing between the lines, whereas if you pick a different theme, it may have 2 or 3. So way around that is make sure that when you're in that text box, make sure you're choosing paragraph. And if you choose paragraph, it should just go out like any normal font or editor. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
All right, very cool. All right, so the last thing we're going to take a look at, and I added some code to this site here because I wanted to add a calendar for my photography classes. And so you have a couple different options, and the one thing we're going to take a look at again is over here, and it's the very last option in your toolbar over here, and that's HTML code. So what I did is I just clicked on it, and it brought in a box for me.
Caveat with HTML code.
Yes, please tell us.
Anytime that you're putting in third-party code into the site, there's limited support that we can provide for that for a couple reasons. One of the reasons is we haven't developed that code, so we can't like say yes or no, it's good or valid. A lot of times support can look at it and make sure that it's configured properly, but that's about as good as we can go. So if it's not rendering properly, you're going to want to refer back to whoever provided that code
exactly
to look at it and see if there might be an issue.
Yeah, and that's definitely true. And you know, we've had that question a few times, and so we can take a look at it. We can maybe see, hey, that's not, you know, we can see it's not accurate or it's not correct. We can't fix it. We can just say, obviously, you can refer back to where you got that code. And so basically what I do is once I type in, or I click on the box and click settings, I can put in my code here. And I just copied and pasted this from a free site. And then once I do that, it will show up in the box the way it's supposed to appear. If it does not show up, then something is wrong with the HTML code.
Well, typically, if it doesn't show up inside the editor, it's because it needs to refer to a live site. So you have a code that references a live server. The thing with Website Builder is there's an editing server that you actually do all your edits and make all your changes on, and then once you go and you publish it, it goes to a web server. So there's actually two servers in tandem when you have your Website Builder working, which a lot of customers don't understand. So I want to make sure that anybody that's listening to this understands that if you put code in here and it references a live site and it's not displaying, more often than not it's because it's not published. So you want to publish your site, see if it's active there, and if it's not, then you want to go to whoever provided the code and say, hey, it's not working. Why isn't it working?
Okay, good thing. I did not know that, so
yep.
Very cool. And then the other part of code as well is under site settings and site-wide code. So you were talking a little bit about CSS earlier. So when would someone use this? So
typically what I see this for is like Google Analytics. Everybody wants to know how their site's doing, what pages people are visiting, kind of traffic they have. So it works in here, but the thing is with the code that gets placed in here, one, you're going to want to make sure that it has an opening tag and a closing tag. And if you don't know what that means, go ahead and go to W3 Schools and check it out.
That's where we go.
So it's basically you want to make sure the code is complete, and then the other thing is you want to make sure that it references HTML, because Website Builder uses and utilizes HTML for most of its functionality. So I've seen Google Analytics code get placed into the body tag, which is fine, but it's not reading in properly, so they're not getting anything out of it. Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure that it's covered. So there's a lot of forums out there that talk about it and tell you how to put it in properly, but this is where it would go, and this would apply to your entire site. So when somebody goes to a page, it'll tell you when they visited the page, when they left, lots of good information.
Yes. Very cool. And while we're here, we may as well just talk about these couple other items. Backup and restore. Very important that you back up your site. If you've been doing a lot of work, it's always a good idea. When you publish, a backup is created, as well as when you start over.
Correct.
And there's one more reason we back it up.
Well, we always back it up when we do tech, but
yeah, that's true. And just again, anytime it's a good idea for you to create backups, so you have that. If you've worked really, really hard, you don't want to lose your site.
The example I use, and when I first started at this company, I helped somebody and I wiped out their site. I ended up having to rebuild it. But when I was in college, I wrote a paper for my thesis. I didn't save it. And this is back before there was autosave.
I was going to say, wasn't this just a couple years ago?
I'm a little old. But I lost my entire thesis because I didn't save it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same concept with Website Builder. You need to make running saves as you're going through it. So a good rule of thumb is to do a save before you even begin editing your site. Start editing your site. When you're done, do another save. It's not going to hurt you because at that point in time, you have a running, living, basically, version of your site. You know when you began and when you ended. And then when you run out of backups, you can just delete the oldest one because at that point in time, it's old and you're no longer using it.
Yeah, great tips.
So,
great tips. We also have just the search engine too. This is something that's great. We have SEO Wizard as well.
Great.
We talked about it in our last Hangout. Just really important that you put in your information, your title, the description for SEO, as well as the SEO Wizard, which was right under our little managed site here. And you have SEO Wizard, and that's a process. I'm logged out.
Yeah, you timed
It
out.
does not like me.
Go ahead.
Sometimes.
Log back in.
I will. But basically, go ahead.
By the way, that's security, and
Yes.
that's to protect you. If you're editing your site and you get up and leave your computer and say your computer's unlocked and it's open, it's to make sure that you don't lose any information.
Yeah, definitely don't want you to lose it. All right, so we'll go back in there. But we recommend taking some time to really think about this. We tell our agents when they talk to customers all the time, the SEO Wizard is not something to take lightly and not to just throw some content onto the page. Just really think about your mission statement, think about what you're doing, what your goals are, what's really important to you. And basically it will walk you through the information that you need, and it even gives you, which I really, really like, is down here once like more information. So you'll notice I click why can I type what I want. It's going to give you details as you go through each step.
Now, what Alicia said is very important. Once you've submitted this and you've sent it to search engines, it gets cached. So it's very important that the information you send is correct, thorough, covers everything that you have, because it goes out there. It's to the World Wide Web, right? So everybody can see it. It's going to be out in Google. It's going to be cached in Yahoo. Think of a search engine. It's going to be there. So you want to make sure that your information is correct, because once they cache that information, changing it and updating it is a little bit more difficult.
Yes,
so
for sure. So yeah, take some time to think about your business, the keywords, the description, your goals, what you want to focus on, and just really take that time to hash that out. All right, well, we are running out of time, but I did want to show you, because I know there's lots and lots of stuff for you guys to go through, and we keep adding more and more information and more options to Website Builder, and that's based on your feedback. So we do have lots of resources for you to choose from. You can reach out to help.godaddy.com, check out our support pages. You can also call us 24/7, or you can chat us 24/7. And then you can see our videos, x.co/WSB videos, lots of different videos on how to do the things we've talked about today, little snippets and short, spurts, so you don't have to watch this whole entire Hangout. And then garage.godaddy.com has some great resources outside of the technical side, but really about building your small business and web presence, social media, and so on. So, did you have anything else to add or any more questions before we finish up?
No more questions. I think we're good. We got some
good.
good ones today.
Excellent.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming today on President's Day. It's beautiful here in Arizona. Hope it's beautiful where you're at. Thank you, Jason, for battling traffic and coming up here. I thought it was a holiday, so it wouldn't be as much traffic.
Well, it's a little bit.
It's kind of a holiday for some people.
Not us.
Not us, no. And again, my name is Alicia, and we also had Colby here, so thank you, Colby. And we look forward to seeing you guys again.